We're very pleased to be partnering with Wawancara University to open our first Aussie Banget corner in Bali. We have a number of other corners already opened in some Jakarta universities and in Makassar, where we have a Consulate General. The program is really to promote Australia's education credentials and as an international destination for tertiary education. What we wanted to do here was that we think, even though there is a lot of people in not just Indonesia but sort of in Southeast Asia more broadly that are very interested in studying in Australia, they probably just don't have access to a lot of the information they might need. And so the idea of running these Aussie Banget corners is to have a resource centre where people can go, have a look, find out information, see some of the scholarship programs that are run by different Australian universities, because there are 43 universities in Australia, all of a very high standard, and they all run different scholarship programs, and of course they all have different specialties in different courses. So it would depend entirely on the student, what they would like to study and what they would be looking to get out of the next stage of studying in Australia, like their next stage of study if they want to study abroad. We're very keen to promote Australian as an education destination, as I said, but not just for the quality, the world-class quality, the world-class education system that's available in Australia, but also because the lifestyle in Australia is really focused on students. We have a very big international student base. It's very good for our own domestic students to be exposed internationally, and we also see education as a bedrock of bilateral relations, and so education is a key priority for Australia. It's the biggest services that we provide in a sort of trade context. So I think last year it was, or 2016, it was something like 619 million in trade in services, in education services, just to Indonesia. So we have around 19,000 Indonesians study in Australia. We'd like to see that number increase. On the other hand, we have the New Colombo plan, where we bring students from Australia into different countries in Southeast Asia. So what we're interested in there is just exactly that, building understanding and building very close relations at that people-to-people link with young people, to raise awareness about each other and to create that understanding between Australia and Indonesia, and what we can do more broadly in the region as we go ahead into the 21st century and beyond.
What do you think about Bali in general? Because Indonesia itself consists of many kind of regions and so on and so on. And then, so yeah, if you have to say about Bali in general.
Well, many Australians know Bali. So many come here for holidays, and in some ways, your governor, the Balinese governor, basically, His Excellency Made Pastika, actually says that Bali is the window into Indonesia for Australian tourists, and I think it is. The difference is that we have to get Australian tourists thinking beyond Bali, but they're so comfortable here. They love the lifestyle, they love the culture, they love the warmth of the people. They can actually have a really very excellent holiday with really great cuisine, really great food, really great relaxation. So it's hard to get them to travel beyond Bali at this stage. I think also that Bali, with the idea that the national government is trying to push more broadly and use tourism as a way to sort of promote development and prosperity in other provinces in Indonesia. We have a lot of Australians that do business in one way or another here, and we also have a lot of Australians that are very much skilled in tourism development. And I think working with Bali, because of its experience, that this is a real opportunity for a partnership between Australia and Bali to help basically fulfil some of these wishes of the government to push out. So we're very much working through the trade negotiations in trying to sort of get more access and break down some of the barriers between the cooperation that should be happening at the industry level. The other thing I'd like to say is I've been in Bali 18 months. I'd never been here before I came, and it's probably the best place in the world to work. Wow, if you want a holiday outside of your work hours. And the weather's great.
So, for a first student who has never been abroad, and what part of Australia do you recommend, at least for a novice, and then for maybe later on students that already traveling? So maybe you can recommend some part of Australia.
Sure. Most students and most Indonesian tourists actually think of Melbourne and Sydney, and they tend to go there. They're big cities, they're very multicultural cities, and so a lot of students feel at home. One of the things I would encourage your students to do is that we do have these short videos, and we can provide longer videos of people that have studied in different parts of Australia, and these are Indonesian students that can talk about their experience. Some of them talk about that multicultural aspect, and they talk about feeling at home, or they talk about the fact that you can walk down the street and you can get exposed to a whole lot of different cultures, and they find that very, very helpful. I'm from Western Australia personally, so I would encourage people to go to Perth because it's beautiful, you agree. But also I think that depending on the course, it's really important, but I would not discourage people from going to rural universities in Australia as well, so regional. So rather than the big cities, going to places like Wollongong University, even ANU in Canberra. Canberra's only about 400,000 people, so it's only it's a capital city, but it's not a big city. It's more like we call it a bush city, and so that's very peaceful but very cold. So if the students don't like the cold, they shouldn't go there. Queensland's very popular, Brisbane, but there's also James Cook up north, right up north, and that's a real experience if you like the tropics, but that's a very good university. Charles Sturt near Bathurst is a really good university, so there's a lot out there. And I just think it probably depends most on what the stream of study is, and finding that university that offers maybe the postgraduate study if that's what they're doing, but offers what's that next stage that they want to take their work.
For a closing, do you have any kind of advice for any of the students? But let's wrap things up.
Sure. First up, I'd say if they're thinking about studying abroad, to look at Australia, because most people seem to automatically think it's expensive, but it's not. It's comparable to other English-speaking countries like the UK or the USA. So we would say look to Australia. It's close. We've got. It's very easy to get home. We've got a large Indonesian diaspora, so there's always a sort of feeling that you can be. There's time zones the same, so there are some benefits. I would also say look at the cost of living in Australia. Another reason to go to rural, out into the country, so regional towns, because the cost of living is not so expensive there. But also a lot of the scholarships that are offered are very generous. So, you can live quite comfortably on a scholarship in Australia. The other thing is, Australian universities, 43 universities, world class, 5 in the top 50 in the world. Those 7? Top 100. 5 in the top 100 in the world. But I think I'll get this statistic right. 17 in the top 50 of new universities less than 50 years old. So I think there's a great variety. So I would encourage your students to use this resource centre, have a look, whet their appetite, and then there will be websites and things that they can go to and really have a good search. And there are scholarships, but there's also, people can self-fund, and they can find really good courses.